guys, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new, welcome. My name is Faith, and today I'm going to be doing my everyday makeup tutorial for you guys. This is really what I've been doing on an everyday basis for the last few weeks. So hopefully this will be very easy for you to follow and hopefully try out for yourselves. Let's get right on into the tutorial. The first thing I like to do is prime the face, and my favorite primer at the moment has been the Becca Backlight Priming Filter. This stuff is so moisturizing, it's luminous, and I just feel like it makes my skin look better, like underneath the makeup. I feel like it minimizes the irritation that can come just from wearing makeup all day. That's why I like this for an everyday basis. For foundation, I have three that I kind of go between. If I want a really light, easy coverage, I like the Tarte Amazonian Clay BB Tinted Moisturizer, and I use the shade Light. And then for actual foundations, I go between the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Glow foundation in the shade 205 Natural Beige, or the Dior Skin Forever foundation in the shade 21. Today I think I'm going to do the L'Oreal one because I want to show you guys a drugstore option. I normally just take some on the back of my hand like so. I'm using the sponge. If you guys saw my last video, which was the Miss A, Shop Miss A makeup tutorial video, this is a sponge I got on there for $1, and I actually have been liking it a lot. It's really like squishy, and it's just so nice. For an everyday foundation, I really like a nice luminous finish too. So that's another reason I love the L'Oreal one, especially for my dry skin. Next up is concealer, and I always use the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer. For the most part, I do sometimes use the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Concealer, but on an everyday basis, I typically go for the Tarte Shape Tape, and this is in the shade Light Sand. It's pretty light. I mean, normally this is the shade I use when I don't do a fake tan, so it looks a little light, but it'll add a lot of brightness to the face. I'll use the same sponge that we used for the foundation, and you really want to make sure that you blend this. You're being kind of firm, because since this is an everyday look, I assume you're going to be wearing this all day and you do not want it to crease. So to prevent creasing, you really want to make sure that you are blending this. I feel like as long as your base makeup looks good throughout the day, you're good to go. So I really make sure everything is blended and we don't have any creasing happening. Okay, next we need to set that concealer quickly with some powder to again prevent creasing. I like to use the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette, and I go between these two shades, Levitation and Lyric. I kind of just mix them together with my sponge. So I go right in there. See, it's on there, and then I just press the under eye. This is a very nice powder for people that are dry like me, because this does not emphasize any dry under eyes. It's a very nice creamy powder. For the rest of the face, because we want to set the rest of the face with powder as well, I use a powder that is close to my actual skin tone, and this is the Bare Minerals Bare Pro foundation powder in the shade Golden Ivory. I take a big fluffy brush like this and just kind of pat this over the skin to set down the wet foundation, make sure it doesn't crease in other areas, and this will also help the blending process of our bronzer and blush and everything like that, setting down a powder. That way those products don't stick in weird ways to the wet foundation. Before we move on to the rest of the face, like bronzer and things like that, I want to do my eyebrows. I use the L'Oreal Brow Stylist Definer in Brunette. So I just brush them all up here. And I normally do a pretty natural brow because the rest of our makeup is going to be pretty natural. You don't really want a big, like, sharp brow. Also, since this is an everyday makeup tutorial, I'm assuming you're not going to have a ton of time. So again, we don't need to be like super precise. We're just kind of filling in sparse areas, giving the brow some shape. I always add More hairs in this portion. I always set my brows with a brow gel just to keep them in place, and my favorite one has been from Glossier. This is their Boy Brow in the shade Brown. And I just run this lightly through the brows. It gives the actual hairs some color too, like if you have light colored eyebrow hairs, which I kind of do. And it also just keeps them in place. I'm going to jump right back into the Shade and Light palette to do our eyes. I'm actually not using an eyeshadow palette today. It's really easy if you're doing this everyday makeup look to just use a bronzer in the crease. I like to use this middle shade here, and I just take a big fluffy brush and run this right through the crease, and I'm kind of messy about it. I even get it on the lid there. As long as you don't take it up on the brow bone, you're good. So stick in the crease area and then onto the actual lid, and this will just give a little bit of dimension to your eye and just give it a little bit of color. It brings a little bit of emphasis to the eyes. That's all I do. And I think you can see there's quite a big difference between both of those eyes. I also like to take whatever is left down into this nose region to do a little bit of a soft nose contour. So I just take it from the crease down in. While we are on contour, let's contour the rest of our face. I use the same shade here, but I mix in a little bit of this cool toned shade. And I always use my duo fiber face shading brush from Delium. This is the most foolproof contour brush I have ever used. It literally, especially with this powder, these powders are so nice. It's almost foolproof. As long as you have a good base underneath, the contour is so easy. I know, again, this is an everyday look, and a lot of you might not want to contour on an everyday basis, or you don't think you have time to, but with this brush and these products, I promise you, it's like so easy. I do take some on the forehead as well to warm that up, and I carry it down into my cheek contour, and that's literally it. I'm already done with that. To finish off the eyes, I'm just gonna add some mascara, and that's literally all I do for the eyes. My favorite mascara combo, I like to use two mascaras to really voluminize? Is that the right word? I don't know. I like to use two mascaras because I feel like it just gives the lashes a little something extra. I like to start with the Roller Lash by Benefit because, as you can see, this wand is like very small, like spiky. I don't know if you can see that. And then I like to go in with the Lancome Monsieur Big Mascara, which is a big, chunky type of wand. I like to really wiggle at the base of the lash, make sure it's really dark, and then I just carry up. Since we're not doing liner or a lot of eyeshadow, I like to make sure to take a little bit of extra time on the lashes to make sure they're all separated, evenly coated, and looking good. Especially on this first coat with the roller lash, this is the step where you want to make sure that they are all separated, and then we'll go in with the Lancome one to thicken them up. I don't put any mascara on my bottom lashes either. I just find that, one, it gets into my concealer and like just starts to look gross throughout the day, but it also just kind of weighs my eyes down. My eye shape, my eyes are a little bit small, I would say, and putting the mascara on the lower lashes, I think just, I don't know, it just drags them down. So I never really put mascara on the lower lash, just on the top, and I think it kind of gives me a little bit of a lift. And that is it for the eyes. Now to finish off the face, I need to do some blush, a little bit more bronzer because we really only contoured, and then some highlight. And for that today, I'm going to use this IBY Beauty Radiant Glow palette. I am so excited to try this for the first time. I've swatched the highlighters. If you follow me on Instagram, you saw an Instagram story of that. I think I even put it on my highlights reel thing, so if you want to still see some swatches, go check that out. But today I also want to try the blush and bronzer. So first I'm going to take the bronzer, which is called Royce, and I'm going to take that on this brush here. This is a real haired brush from Bare Minerals. It'll give a nice light wash of color. Again, I just want to add a little bit on top of the contour to give us a little bit of warmth. And next for blush, I'm going to take this shade here. This is the blush shade and it's called Pop. And I'm going to take that on my Real Techniques blush brush and just pop that on the cheeks. Ooh, that is a pretty color. If you don't want to buy this palette, an option from the drugstore that I love are the Milani Baked blushes. I use those in so many videos, so I wanted to kind of change it up for you guys, but those are good too. This almost has a sheen to it. In the pan, it kind of looks matte, but it has a slight sheen to it, which I love. I love a blush that gives your cheeks a little bit of a glow. I always put a little on the nose, as you guys know. And then before we dip into these highlighters, which I'm so excited about, I want to set the face with a makeup setting spray. And I'm using the NYX Dewy Finish setting spray today. This will set in our makeup, but then also give our cheeks a little bit of wetness so that the highlight really sticks on and is amplified. I do sometimes take my sponge and just set down this lower portion. If you have peach fuzz or anything like that, this little trick will help. For highlight, I'm going to use this tapered contour brush from Delium. It says it's a contour brush. I like it for highlight. It's very nice. And when I swatched these highlights, my favorite two were these two on the side here. This one is called Purr and this one is Prosecco. I think I want to mix both of these. So excited. Woo! So pretty. I love the combo of those two because this one here, this Prosecco shade, is kind of pinky. It's a little bit dark, but mixing it with this more white shade. If any of you are super, super fair, this white shade alone would be really pretty. I believe that these highlights are also sold in singles. I will verify that down below in the description box, but I'm pretty sure they come in singles, all of them. I know definitely 24 Karat Magic does because I have a single of that one. This is 24 Karat Magic. This one comes in a single. I think the others come in singles too if you're interested in just one or two. So pretty. Look at that. I like to take it right about here to the cheek so that when I turn my head, you can really see it. Sometimes if it's just back here, you won't really be able to see it. I'm going to take some on the tip of the nose as well and the Cupid's bow. And, you know, just to amplify it up a little bit more, sometimes I do this, sometimes I don't, but today I will. I do take some of the highlight shade in the inner corners of the eye from time to time. I'm going to take this lightest shade Purr and pop that in the inner corner here. You could also use these as eyeshadows. This could really be like an all-in-one palette, which is really nice. Take some on the brow bone as well because we're already here, so why not? Then last step is lips, and my go-to lip combo for an everyday purpose, especially in the winter. I like using this NYX lip pencil in Peekaboo Neutral, and then I love putting my Glossier coconutbalm.com kind of squeeze tube of lip balm. This stuff is intense and will really protect your lips, especially if you live in a cold climate like I do. I do fill in the lip a little bit to give it some color. And then we pop on our balm. It smells so good too. Love it. And this, you guys, is the finished makeup look. I hope that you guys enjoyed it and that it was easy to follow along. Let me know down in the comments if you did like it. And if you did, make sure that you give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I am doing monthly giveaways this year. Yay. And other than that, guys, I will see you in my next video. Bye.